What's going on, guys? If you watch my markets video, Lee is on vacation this week, so no fun intros. Again, you just get me. We're going to cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana in this video and go over the key moves, key supports, key resistance levels because Bitcoin double bottom. Will it go lower? Where will the bounce levels be? You're going to get that information in this video. You like my content? Be sure to like and subscribe. I just put out the markets video. If you want to see the S&P, NASDAQ, and DAX, went out just before this. Be sure to click that hype button if you enjoy this content and consider joining our Discord. Join button is right there on YouTube. You can get our video updates on YouTube throughout the week, including the block state update, or you can jump over to the Discord and hang out with me and the friends. It's a lot of fun. It's what keeps me in this space. We have a lot of fun on the Discord. So let's talk about what's going on Bitcoin right now. First thing I want to look at, as you guys know, markets had a bloody Friday, but we're in extreme fear in crypto, which, believe it or not, is a good thing. Why? Because typically you look for bottoms in extreme fear. So if we look at Bitcoin zoomed out on the weekly chart, this is an 18 RMA, right? Key price levels, 126 was the top. Back in April of last year, I gave you 132 as a potential top. We got pretty close, 126.2 here. And then we sold off, rebounded to 97, almost 98, sold off, and then rebounded to 82, sold off again in a double bottom. Now, can it go lower? Without even complicating this with fibs, I know not everybody understands fibs, but without even complicating this, you can look at your fractal low over here from August of 2024, and you can see that lines up right with 50K. You can pull a fib from the 2022 low all the way to the all-time high, and you know that the 618's at 57, which we still have not hit. We came close at 59, but we still haven't hit 57. So you can make that case that Bitcoin has lower to go just from a market structure standpoint right there at 50K. And also from a Fibonacci standpoint, we never quite got to the 618. But let's look and see what Bitcoin is actually doing and can it hold this low. Now, crypto's been very, very disappointing this year, as you guys know. We disconnected from the markets back here in October. If you were listening to Tom Lee, he was talking about a depeg that occurred and then waves of selling happened. If you listen to other people who have been in the crypto space, they'll tell you about the 4-year cycle, which topped right on time. And then you had the drop. That drop of, what was the actual drop? Did it exceed 50% at this point with that new low? I think it did, right? Just below 50%? Let's check it. 53%. Typically, historically, back when I was shorting Bitcoin over here in 2021, you get a 75% drop, right? So you have other people telling you this thing's going into the 30s or 40s. Well, let's just look and see what the charts say about this. Lots of conflicting narratives. You also have the quantum narrative. Zcash, Claude found a potential exploit that crashed, rug pulled Zcash. There's a lot of FUD in this space. Some of the biggest influencers, people that spoke at Bitcoin keynotes as keynote speakers at Bitcoin conferences, are out there spreading FUD about crypto as well. I look at it as it's a retracement, and guess what? This cycle is massively bullish. Now, I'm not going to give you Tom Lee numbers like 6,000 Ethereum at the end of the year, but we're going to hit 200, 250K this cycle. I'm very confident on that based on what's going to happen in the marketplace. If we look at Bitcoin here just on the daily time frame, what's the key thing to look at for when we're going to get a bounce? Now, from a resistance standpoint, you need to break above 65K. Breaking above 65K is very good, and that next key test is the trend line, which you formed in your near-term uptrend, which broke market structure and broke down. I was bullish on the near-term uptrend because it was a near-term uptrend, but you broke down and double bottom, so now you're in more of a static trading space. Flip 65 is the first step, and then you're looking at a retest of 71, 74 up in this range, and you have to flip the trend line to go higher. If you do not flip the trend line, you could be getting rejected there, and this could cause what? It could cause the sell-off leg to the next level down. That's a potential. If it was just to get more bearish from where it's at right now, then what you would see is this pivot low of 59K has to be taken out to the downside, right? Let me mark that for you. It's this line right here, 59K. If you take out that pivot low, let's put this on let's get more candles, get an 8-hour chart. So let's say if Bitcoin does this, it comes up, it's rejected, comes back down, maybe starts leveling down. Once you break that and take out 59K, again, from a Fibonacci standpoint, you have the psychological number of 50K, you have the 618 at 57, and the deeper level from a range projection on Fibonacci is 45K and 37K would be the two targets if this turned extremely bearish. Now, it is worth noting here, if you look at this on the daily time frame, look at your RSI. It's just interesting. The RSI was more oversold than the original sell-off to 59K, right? You got deeper oversold. Now, you typically see resistance points. You see what you did here? Got oversold, came up to the bottom of the line, then you went back down again. You got oversold, you're back up at the bottom of the line. If you're going to get a W recovery, it's going to look something like that, with a breakout to the upside potentially. If the markets continue to push higher, you see it all the time. The RSI mimics price. You see the volume, the wave is selling, momentum's bearish. Everything's bearish. It's very obvious. What you're looking at now is how strong of a recovery can you get for a lower high. And if you want higher prices beyond the lower high, you have key levels to flip. But the first test is going to be 65K coming up and then making a decision at 73.7. Are you going up or are you going down? Okay. And that's assuming you can stay bullish in this range. When I say bullish, meaning recovery, because if you break below 59, opens up 50K. Just that's all the things you need to understand what's happening. Big week in the market. SpaceX IPO. Crypto's been underperforming. It held up well here because a lot of people expected this to continue crashing, but it was massively oversold. So it has work to do. When we start seeing patterns on larger time frames like 8-hour and daily, recovery patterns, if you start getting one, some higher lows, it's going to be easier to look at it from a perspective of trading to the upside. Of course, you can zoom out, or zoom in, I should say, 4-hour, 3-hour, 1 hour, and find trades as well, which is what we're doing on the Discord. So you can check that out with the join button. Let's look at this on Ethereum as well. Key levels to consider. If you look at Ethereum, this RMA has been acting beautifully here, the 18 RMA. This is the 18 RMA, gave you the top of the previous leg, gave you the top again on this leg, and you can see the RMA is coming down into the uptrend line, right? Again, natural rebound spot, just to draw it out for you. If you can flip 1740, let's just call it 1750 for easy numbers, that's your fractal low. You have to flip 1750, and then you come back up and test that trend line. It's going to be your first key point of resistance. Why? You did it over here as well, right? You didn't sell off this deep, but you tested the trend line multiple times, so did Bitcoin, before ultimately capitulating, which you could easily see that lift if the markets do indeed want to continue rallying into the summer. So that's something to pay attention to. Now, if you look at this zoomed in on the daily, we can get some more fib levels here. You can see your 54, which again gave you the top here on the daily time frame. Ethereum needs to put in some type of bottoming structure to come up, right? If you're going to get a wave of buying, even if it's a lower high to resistance, remember, this is a trading channel, right? I can give you the forecast later on. As you guys know, I expect those cycle highs for Bitcoin, 200, 250. I think you'll be at 160 going into the summer of next year. But that's because the most bullish time of the year is November out to April in the markets, and you can see Bitcoin rip. This is volatility and chop till then, but there's trades to be had. So flip 1750. Ethereum, I'm looking at 2100 up here for the key test on Ethereum with the RMA moving down. And of course, you can see the range projection numbers. If Ethereum was to lose right down here, your low of 1500, where's it going? In other words, if it just bangs its head here, makes a double top or something, and starts going down, 1293 on Fibonacci all the way down to 1000. That's the next level down, okay? That's if it was going to do that move, but it has to take out 1500. I think it's more likely because of the rubber band concept to get a rebound up first, right? To resistance and make a decision at resistance before pushing back down or moving back up to the upside for another higher low target, okay? That's just my thoughts on Ethereum, and just like on Bitcoin, more oversold now than the original low of 1740. If we look at Solana, where you're at on Solana, by the way, guys, you want to trade these markets, check out Bitunix. Be a market maker's VIP. Link is right there in the video description. It does help support the channel because I'm not monetized, so I do appreciate it if you want to trade. 67.34 is your key resistance, or 60, 737, you see the same recovery pattern. Where's it stuck? Right at that fractal of the previous sell-off low, right? So you're finding resistance here. Again, I would like to see some type of pullback, get some type of compression pattern forming. If we're going to get a recovery pattern, the next key resistance area on Solana is going to be 76 to 81 for Solana. And again, at 67 bucks can be a nice move up in here. And if it goes here, it's going to make a decision to go up or to go back down and retest some lows. So that's where we're at in the crypto space. Again, this has been very disappointing because I love crypto. I mean, I came from the traditional markets, as you guys have been watching this channel, but been very disappointing having historic rallies in the stock market and selling in the crypto market. Not even a historic, I mean, just selling in the crypto market. And I would love to have seen more participation, but there's a lot of trades in these markets. There's a lot of moves in these markets. When Solana goes from 67 to 97 and makes these kinds of moves, guys, this is a lot of fun if you enjoy trading. It's a 46% move. And I traded Solana over here around that 84 mark and got a nice 20%, 18% move to the upside. So these are a lot of different trades you can do. Overall, the space is well intact and you will see much higher prices in the future. For now in the summer, you're stuck in volatility, stuck in chop. But I hope you guys have a fantastic week and you'll see me on the next update.